Hey, what's up, everybody? This is an update on a video that I did like way back when. All right, and you saw the title. The BC is lost because repent is not in the ABW vocabulary, only to double, triple, quadruple down. All right, the community is utterly destroyed because of this. All right, now I pointed out for a while that the intent behind the FBI programs was this. And Dennis Mueller and Deb Ellis did a documentary about this. And so this is what we have. The first goal is to prevent the coalition of militant black nationalist group, prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement, and prevent the militant black nationalist group and leaders from gaining respectability by discrediting them, usually using sex to the community. And the final goal should be to prevent the long-range growth of the militant black nationalist organization, especially among the youth. And these are excerpts from the COINTEL document, the FBI COINTELPRO document, right? Now, what we are starting to realize, this video here I put up in around 2014 in the beginning. But what we are really starting to realize now is the main people weaponized against the Afro man and his offspring is the ABW themselves. All right. And now that we get to voice our what's going on TikTok and stuff like that, it was falling on deaf ears. And as it was falling on deaf ears, the Afro man decided to get passports and then jet out. All right. So what happened is that even back then, we started to marry outside the race more and more because we started to see and understand that the ABW was no longer viable to us if we wanted to be good men. They were only viable to thugs. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, so let's break this down because I wanted to go back over a comment that a woman wrote to in one of my videos, right? Well, in two of them. And we'll deal with that first. Let me greet everybody. Hovorden Hardugudag, Ola Oitadabain, Vasas Los, Bonja Mezmi, Kettlebound ni Konnichiwa, Niha Niyama, Sani Bonani, Jumpa Baragani, Assalamu alaikum and Shalom. Kamusta ka, kamusta po kayo, talafa lava soy fua. All right, in the description box, you will see my PayPal me and Cash App if you want to help support this channel and doing what we do. All right, we're headed to the DR, to Colombia. Most of the soccer balls are going to Colombia, right? But I'm going to be getting back with you on what the real deal is in the DR, because there's some things that I have picked up amongst other commentators, and it's not good. All right, so let's break this down. As we look back over this one more again, all right, I want you to understand they refer to a Messiah coming out of our ranks. That means they understand we are Hebrews. And this gaining respectability, they've been tearing Afro men down who meant better by using sex against us. All right, Ada Cosby and all the rest of them. And all those in Hollywood and the media is going to be in on it, right? That's how they keep them jobs and stay rich. All right, so hold on. All right, everybody. So here we go. All right. Now, remember, I am saying that black women are lost to good Afro men because repenting is not in their vocabulary, right? They double or triple down. And so this woman at the time, when I first put this video up, This was her comment. She says, "Who cares if you go with it?" Now, understand this. All right, read what she is saying. All right, and it's why they're getting kickback and pushback and clapback for the Filipinas. See, in their ignorance, to put anyone down that the Afro man, the good Afro man, would have as an options, they put them down by saying that they are unattractive, uneducated, or anything. They say anything to put them down. Remember, the agents in our community is them. Look at how they conduct themselves. All right. And so for somebody to not care, right? She is stating that they will start going with their men, but before she made this comment, Eve was already with a Caucasian man. A number of hip hop people. The famously Serena Williams married a Caucasian man. Loving versus Virginia is how this whole thing got started. It's the law that gave the Afro man permission and the Caucasian woman permission to now get married, and it was because a white man wanted to marry a quote unquote black woman. All right, and um, what's happening is that a lot of these women are clapping back at the BW and they can't take it because they know they're losing their man. But instead of repenting and coming to an apology, no, they're not doing that. They're doubling and tripling down. And this is how they're doing it. F what they say that's coming out of their mouth. Look at what they're doing to Afro men's channels who's talking about these issues. They are shutting them down. They are silencing our voices. They are hoping for the deletion of Afro men while following Synthetic G's channel, right? And so she goes through all of this stuff, and the number one reason behind everything she just mentioned is them, the BW, all right? The BW. And you can't get help when your image is that you saw in the front. All right. And so this is their problem. All right. She goes on to say, black men, to another video, are so happy that white man is now letting you lay up and marry his woman. All right. First of all, again, I might point out 87% of white women fantasize about being with the black man. Once she passed over that hurdle that she find that he could actually take care of her, now you see that a lot of black men are marrying up with him. But why? Well, the reason why is because for the 400 years that she says of slavery, we have always been sold under the bus by our own women. And let's not forget the simp sellouts and sambos, the men, the politicians, and all the rest of that. All right, they are. If you don't have nothing to offer a good man except for turmoil, a headache, I'm gonna put you on child support and steal your kids, cause see they're not children anymore. That's why they refer to them as kids. You know, baby goats, cause they dehumanized the child to the point where that child is nothing but a check. So why should a black man be with any woman that sees children as a check, that sees him as a check, that's going to put him in the system more than anyone else has done? All right? Could you demand more than that? Oh, and the reason why they're doing this? Now, she said, give you for 400 years and stolen history. But this is the same woman that will defend Serena and all the rest of them talking to a white man. You see? But here's the difference. When we're talking to the woman, she's choosing to come into our community, to come under our leadership. When y'all are talking to that man, And you mentioned this 400 years of slavery and stolen history. When you say that, y'all love this man for stealing your history, for stealing our history, for the slavery. How do we know? Because y'all glorify any black woman that talks to this. But you try to get mad at any black man that point out we need to leave you alone. Remember, in your last statement, Faith Lewis said, leave us alone. Now she get mad because we leaving y'all alone. The black women alone. All right. Some of us are still looking. But now we have broadened our horizons and realized that if we can't find a good black woman that's going to meet our needs exactly the way we want them to, now we'll compromise a little bit, allowing for unforeseen circumstances. But outside of that, if she can't meet our needs, then we don't need to be with her. See, we have options, we always had. But we had the hope that if we get a strong black man get with a black unity. No, there is none. Because our biggest enemy has just happened to be the biggest asset of the system, which is our own women. All right? So, what's going on with now, keep in mind that you have Eve, right? We spoke with. All right. And now she goes on to say this, right? This is Maya Angelou and Nina Simone. All right. What do we know about them? Well, definitely what we do know is that Maya Angelou married the Caucasian 3 times. Nina Simone married hers, divorced, and only after having problems with them do they have a come to Jesus moment. All right, this is my problem with the so-called wannabe conservatives. All right, I call bull on these wannabe conservatives, and the reason why I do is conservative black women don't tend to not marry conservative Afro men. And each time you look at this, you find out how the Afro man ends up in the arms of the Caucasian woman. All right. Again, what they have is an image problem. They get run through by all these dudes. All right. And then they're mad when we see that these are the dudes they get run through by. And we don't want none of that after all these dudes done had a turn. And so we said, well, the best thing to do is to get a passport and leave them alone for our own safety. Because all these dudes they get run through by happily, they give their youth to, give their virginity to, give their mind, heart, and soul to, create a whole bunch of babies with these men. Right? No, we don't want none of that. We're done. All right. Now, in all of this, this is what they stood for. All right. So they've been standing with the white woman since before our movement. They replaced our movement for the right to be human with women's solidarity with a bunch of women who only wanted to use them and didn't want them in their movement as far as to be in the movement. All right. These are what the things that the black woman decided, the BAW, American BAW. This is what they fought for. All right. They fought for the government to be their man, not a husband. Let me repeat that. They fought for the government to be their man, not a husband. All right. equal rights. They had superior rights, but they wanted to crash them instead of them having to be under a man's protection. They wanted the government to do it, and found out that didn't work well, because you can call the cops, but they can only get there after the assault, and you can't call them until there's an assault. All right, look at this: jobs, abortion. They fought for the deletion of our children. And more than anyone else that have done harm to the Afro men and the children, no one has done more than the ABW. It is something that they want you to forget. All right. Now, this is another thing, right? Do you know what it is in 2023? It's still zero. I want y'all to understand this. I did this story a while back. Um, this woman was sentenced to 21 years in federal prison for fraud and weapons charges. All right, stolen identity and tax fraud. That's what got her, right? And they wanted us to weep for this woman when they said, oh, she hugged her 3 young children and then she cried. This woman didn't give a damn about those children. If she did, one, she would have had as a husband one of the baby daddies. And two, she wouldn't have taken such a risk. But the reason why these women take these risks because they really don't care about the children. People that care about children do not take unnecessary risk to benefit themselves and floss like you see here. All right. But here's the thing. They don't get punished for taking men's money through paternity fraud. And in this country, they treat the men like crap. And men have only one thing to think. If you're in this country, you think that this country, you can read the bottom. And that's almost true if you look at the actions. You can't say that the country doesn't do this, especially if you're an Afro man. That's why a lot of men are getting passports and leaving who are Caucasian and Afro. The only woman that hasn't really betrayed her man to that level yet is the Hispanic, the Latina woman. All right. But the BWs are done in the US. They are done and run through. All right. Again, they band together to go after the money of Afro men, but they did not give a damn about any of the racists that they want to say they don't like Trump for. They didn't give a damn about that, right? So you know what? It's better for us to go to Colombia and find something that looked like this. Or better yet, hey y'all, don't this look like my girl from Colombia? Don't that look like her? Go to my Facebook and you'll see her in the white. It looks like her. It ain't her. Trust me, it ain't her. All right. But anyway, so we have options that are outside of them. And this is what's pissing them off. So there's a wall of judgment that has come for them. Winter has come. And the reason why the woman said all that stuff and the reason why they are so derogatory towards women of other communities is in their hearts. They said that the Afro men do not deserve any options outside of them. And that would be okay if they were any good. But these women are run through, run out, done over, well done, stick a fork in them. All right. And they've become too toxic, dangerous, hostile, and combative towards the good Afro men. So while the wall and judgment come for the ABO, all right, let that wall and judgment come for the ABW. And bros with passports, go. Just let us go. And we are going to advertise to other brothers and teach other brothers that they have options. See, you can't shut that down. Period. Because we'll come back and teach that over and over again, no matter how many times you shut down brothers' channels. See, the B-Dub has started a war with not the thugs, but even the thugs are starting to fall in line. They started the war with the good men. Now all men are seeing them for who they are. With that said, I'm out.